My journey through the world, over land and over sea, I see different cultures and different people's ways. I was born where the sun never sets and never rises. I was born where the heat is like a second skin. Children crying on the streets, automobiles are making noise, the land is growing dry and weak, spirits dying blue. Before fathers are calling me and never tired, never waking, the pride in me is bursting loose, burn African road. On the farm, my father called me down behind the tree. He said, prostrate at my feet and say a few prayers. Then he told me all the stories of my brave ancestors. Said, look into my eyes, son, you were born to be great. So in the twilight, I went home behind my father with a hoe, listening to the songs of birds. Whispers of the night, I was singing seven birds, seven beats, seven copies, seven nights, seven letters for I got from my African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains in the world. I'll be brave and I'll be strong, I'm an African In the evening, mother called me down into her heart. She said, lay upon my bosom and say a few prayers. Then she told me to go forward, never looking back. The spirits are with you, and you will never fail. So I go into the world, into the deep, into the wide. In the marketplace, I dance the sound of bata dancing. Seven times, seven wrinkles, seven carries, seven nuts, seven letters for I got from an African boy. Over sea, over land, over mountains and the wild. I'll be brave and I'll be strong, I'm an African boy.
Thanks to everyone joining this broadcast. Welcome to Africa Radio TV International from Victoria here in South Africa. I just want to use this to welcome every one of you, no matter where you are, no matter the welcome you to this another beautiful time in on the African Portal Radio TV International. It's a lovely, beautiful hour here in Victoria, South Africa. If you are just connecting to this broadcast, please watch, share, like, let it go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. So please keep sharing, keep watching it, keep talking about it. It's your one-stop media house where one of this, please be part of this conversation. A lovely, beautiful hour on the African Portal Radio TV International. I'm just waiting for a few people to connect, and I'm waiting for my guests as well to connect to this broadcast this hour. and we are going to be having a beautiful time with Mr. Opeyemi Adewale, all the way from Pensioner FM in Nigeria, first Pensioner Radio in Africa. We are going to be having the conversation with him on this broadcast this hour. So please, if you are connecting to this broadcast, please share, like, comment, let go viral. I am just waiting to connect to him. So let me use this time to welcome every one of you to this beautiful, lovely hour on the African Portal Radio TV International. As a matter of fact, while we are going to be having a beautiful hour on this broadcast this hour, and I promise you're going to enjoy this conversation as we talking about the challenges facing media world and what do you need to know about Mr. Opeyemi. Those are the things that we will be having the conversation on this hour. Let me just use this hour to welcome every one of you in South Africa, Dumela, Ashe, Moloi, in northern part of Africa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So all the Africans in northern part of Africa and in eastern part of Africa, Abarisa in eastern part of and in English speaking country, hello, French speaking country, bonjour. We greet and we salute every one of you. We greet you according to your time zone and according to your language. We welcome you to this beautiful, lovely time. Please share, like. Your comment is very, very important on this program. Please kindly like, comment, send your comments. You can call me on +277 3 884. What do you want to know about Mr. Opeyemi Adewale? Is a media guru, is about to complete his PhD in pure media. So we are going to be engaging on that. But before we take him to that, we're going to celebrate one of the great citizens doing raising the banner high. We're going to be celebrating on this broadcast as well. As you know, that Africa, we have a funny attitude of not appreciating ourselves. But on the African portal, we are changing the narrative to make sure that people, we raise them and we show them the love they deserve. And that's exactly what is going to happen on this broadcast this hour. So if you are just connecting the broadcast, please share it. Share it. Share it. The more you share it, the more energy we have, the more the comment. The comment is the petrol this show is going to use to go viral. So I'm going to be allowing my guests to get into the business of the day. Everyone, no matter where you are, join me to welcome the extraordinary, the multi-award winning Mr. Opeyemi Adewale from Pensioner FM Nigeria to this broadcast this hour. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Dari. It's good to be here on your program. Thank you so much for having me. And hello, Africans. Hello, everyone. Whatever you're listening to this broadcast from, it's my pleasure to be on this beautiful platform to share my experience with every one of us and to relate with every one of us, especially to talk about the media world and how everything has been from our end here in Nigeria. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, everyone, once again.
All right. No, it is a great pleasure to have you on board, and I'm so delighted to have you on this broadcast all the way from Nigeria. We are coming to you live from Pretoria here in South Africa, and I promise you, it's going to be a lovely, beautiful time. It's going to be a Royal Rumble show as we'll be going on the journey whereby we'll be talking about your experience, things that you have achieved, and the challenges facing the media world, especially in Africa. We're going to be putting into the content and at the same time taking it out of the content at the same time. And I just really, really want to appreciate you for the great job that you are doing in Pensioner FM. I've seen that and I've heard a lot about you. Most of the work that you do, I listened to some documentary that you put together, most especially for the former Olubado of Ibadan land, Obasaliu Adetuji, Akomo, Ajay Oguguniso, one. That is a beautiful presentation, and I really, really want to appreciate what you are doing. What the African Portal stood for is to give people a tap on the shoulder and say, well done for the great job that you are doing. Well done for raising the banner high, and well done for being the voice to the voiceless. I mean, for the voiceless, and at the same time, being the face for the faceless. So those are the things that we are celebrating on the African Portal Radio TV International. Without further ado, let me just quickly take you a journey. Let me allow you to introduce yourself to the listeners at home, who you are, where you are, and the position you hold in the society.
Thank you very much, Dari. Once again, my name is Opeyemi Adewale. Well, I'm a media professional, and I'll just do the regular line of our normal introduction, but it may take some time. Let me say I was born in Ibadan, and I'm from Oyo State, precisely a native of Fiditi. And there's something about people from Fiditi. We love fruits a lot, and we like to eat pounded yam. So I'm a native of Fiditi in Afigio local government area of Oyo State. I had my primary education in Ibadan, precisely at EN Kinderland Nursery and Primary School. That was when private schools began to get their footings right in Ibadan. Unlike now that we have a whole lot of private schools, and you're wondering what exactly do you want to do with this private school. To do and to give quality in terms of education. Then from primary education, I proceeded to All Saints College, which is owned by All Saints Church, Jericho, Ibadan, for my secondary education. And in 2004, I proceeded to Bowen University in Warsaw State to study mass communication. And I graduated in 2008. I went for NYSC same year in 2008. I finished in 2009. I served in the far north. I served in Zamfara State. And I returned to Ibadan, having completed my NYSC in 2009. Then I started working full time as a media professional with the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State in 2010. And I'll say I have no regrets at all, being in the media industry. So for more than 10 years, I've been in the media industry, doing what I love to do and trying to impact positively as the media industry is concerned. I think that's the short, the brief about myself for now as we go on. Thank you, Dari.
Wow, wow, what a journey, what a journey. No, that is lovely, that is lovely, and I'm so delighted. I'm so happy to actually have opportunity to engage you and to have this conversation with you. I have somebody with me, everyone commenting on the program. You are the co-host of this broadcast, so please keep sharing it, keep talking about it, keep sending those comments. Damilola said, Dr. Opeyemi Adewale, time to drink from your pot of knowledge again. Thank you very much. That comment is beautiful, lovely one. And I'll talk about Baba today, Tiamiyu, the GM of Pioneer FM, the first pensioner radio in Africa. I'll say, welcome to the African Portal Radio TV, Pictorial South Africa, Global Voice. This is Global Voice on the African Portal Radio TV International. To every one of you that you are joining us, please kindly share this program. Let it go viral. It's going to be a lovely time with this great, vibrant African young man doing so well in media space and doing so well also in other area of life. All right, let's take it easy. Let's take it a bit after the other. I love the introduction and I love what you say. Your education background and the journey is so impressive. But there is a permission I want to take from my listeners. If you are listening to me in Jamaica, I have a large followers in Jamaica. Mariboma, thank you very much. Please keep sharing it. Mariboma is listening and watching from Jamaica. Also, I have people in United States of America, in United Kingdom. I celebrate every one of you. Please keep sharing it, keep talking about it. But please permit me to quickly go back to the motherland. Let's quickly do it a bit better. I love it when I'm speaking English, but sometimes I feel like I'm still under a bondage when I'm speaking English. I just want to switch a bit to quickly put my Yoruba garment on to also entertain my Yoruba fans and family all over the world. Welcome to the African Portal. Like I said, I greet you in Igbo land, Kedu, in northern part of Nigeria. I greet you all over Nigeria in northern part. We go in Nakwana, in Yoruba land. Eka lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ for money. Ṣe ní gbogbo ìlú ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ níbi tẹ́ ti ń gbọ́ wa. Ojú òní tì yín bàjẹ́ òní bá yín ẹ̀ ní dàrúkà lágbára ìbàdàn gbogbo ọmọ kìí ká ọ̀nà báyìí lalákè sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ tí ó bá yó ìgbẹ́ lójúbẹ̀ ó ti ojú òní tàwa lágbára Èdùmàrè orí agbálẹ̀ ètò lẹ́ ń wọlé sí yìí lórí ẹ̀kàn tó làgàràgà ká gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé the African Portal náà lẹ́ ń gbọ́ yìí ẹlẹ́rù àmì tìtì lórí òkè waterproof ó lẹ́ ń gbọ́ tó ń dún gẹ́gẹ́ tó ń dún gẹ́gẹ́ tó ń dún gẹ́gẹ́ yìí ẹ ní dàrú kí ti ń ṣí àyè ojú òní tì yín mo lé àlejò pàtàkì mo ní lójú òkú lálẹ́ ti tòní Mr. Opeyemi Adewale ó jẹ́ ògbóǹtarìgì tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ àbí nípa iṣẹ́ ìròyìn ògbóǹtarìgì ọlọ́gbọ́n onímọ̀ tó mọ̀ tí fún tẹ̀dọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tí ń lọ àti nípa ètò tí ń lọ ní gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé àti lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà nínú iṣẹ́ ìròyìn ni o nínú iṣẹ́ ìgbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ ni o àbí nínú pé ká kọ ìròyìn ni gbogbo ẹ̀ pátápátá náà ló rọ Ọ̀gbẹ́ni Opeyemi Adewale ó rọ̀ wọ́n lọ́rùn wọ̀ọ̀kù mo kí ládéládé mo kí lóyè mo kọ́kùnrin mo kóbìnrin mo kọ́mọdé mo kágbà mo kí gbogbo yín pátápátá mo kí ń lé ìfẹ́ ò dáyé níbi tí ojúmọ́ rẹ ti mọ́ wá mo kí yín o ẹ̀ka alẹ́ ẹ̀kú ìfọmọnìyàn ṣe àlejò mi Yorùbá ni òun náà ló jẹ́ ń wọlé èdè Yorùbá ọlọ́mọdé àjìyà nígbà bá wa pa èdè títí wa tá a bá pa á tì tá a bá wá sédè léde tá a wá ran yín mọ́ tá a ran yín mọ́ èwo wa ni ẹja yọ kò sí láàlẹ́ kọ ewé ló kọlà sára ẹ̀kọ ìyá bàbá ẹ̀gbọ́n àbúrò ẹ̀kalẹ́ ó yá bàbá wa ẹ bá ń kí àwọn èèyàn wa tí ń gbọ́ wa ń lé lédè tiwa gangan.
Ẹ ṣeun atọ́kùn ètò orúkọ mi ni Opeyemi Adewale mo sì ń fi àsìkò yìí kí gbogbo wa pátápátá gbogbo ọmọ ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire gbogbo wa pátápátá ní ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀ mo ní ẹ káalẹ́ o ẹ káàárọ̀ o ẹ káàsán o níbikíbi tí ẹ ti ń láǹfààní láti máa gbọ́ ètò yìí bí atọ́kùn ṣe sọ ètò yìí ni láti fi jẹ́ kí a mọ rírì àwa tí a jẹ́ ọmọ Áfíríkà gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tí à ń ṣe gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ ìdàgbàsókè tí à ń ṣe ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹ ṣé o tí ẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa.
ẹ ṣe bàbá ojú òní tìyín ẹ ní wálẹ̀ lágbára Èdùmàrè ẹ wò wọ́n fún yín láǹfààní kan torí pé ṣe kó jẹ́ wípé ìlú bíi tẹ́lẹ̀ ti wá inú mi dùn pé ọmọ Yorùbá pọ́nbélé nìyí ó yá ẹ múra yín lọlé kẹ kíra yín mọ́bi tẹ́ ẹ ti wá kẹ káwọn èèyàn mọ̀ àwọn tí bá ń gbọ́ yín ní gbogbo Òkè Ògùn ní gbogbo Ìṣẹ́yìn ní Fìdítì ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ pátápátá ilẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ pátápátá tó ti ń gbọ́ yín àti ní gbogbo orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà pé kọ́ mọ̀ wípé Yorùbá ló làṣà ẹ gbé èdè Yorùbá ẹ bá ń gbé lárugẹ ayé tẹ ẹ bá mọra yín kíkira ẹ kìlú yín ẹ jẹ́ ká mọ̀ tí ń bọ̀ ọmọ wọn bí tẹ́ ti wá ẹ sọ fún wọn.
mo mọ̀ pé tí ọmọ agbó má gbó tìṣẹ́ ọmọ agbó tó ṣe wú ṣekele wá ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n máa ń fi oríkì ilé màmá mi oríkì màmá mi ó máa ń fi kì mí tàbí tí ó bá jẹ́ ti Fìdítì gangan ó ní bí wọ́n ṣe máa ń kì í wá ní àlàmú àgbò ọmọ oríkì yẹn fẹ́ bára mu bákan torí tí ẹ bá wo ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn ará Fìdítì asúmọ́ Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣẹ́jú méjì àbí mẹ́ta ó ní ẹ fi máa lò tí ẹ fi máa dé Ọ̀yọ́ so tí wọ́n bá ń kì mí sí ilé bàbá àti ilé ṣẹ̀bọ̀ àti ilé màmá ó máa ń bára mu so at times wọ́n kì í mọ èyí tí wọ́n máa mú nínú méjèèjì máa ní ẹ ṣáà mú èyí ó bá ti bọ́ sí yín lẹ́nu but èyí tí mo mọ̀ dáadáa ló máa ń kí as àlàmú ọ̀gọ̀ ọmọ ajílàlà ọ̀ṣọ́ yẹn then ọmọ ajífọlọ́wọ́ dáadáa bí egbin wọ́n á máa kìlọ̀ báyẹn ṣùgbọ́n torí pé àwa kan Ìbàdàn ní àdàgbà sí so ìwọ̀nba tí mo mọ̀ nìyẹn tí grandma má fi kì mí but at least mo ṣáà try nínú ìyẹn díẹ̀.
ẹ gbìyànjú ìsọ̀yẹ́ fẹ́ sápá yín lórí ṣùgbọ́n ẹ gbìyànjú ẹ wò nǹkan kankan lẹ́ṣẹ̀ fún mi ẹ bá padà lọlé ẹ lọ bá ń tún oríkì mú dáadáa bíi ẹni tó ń gbòòsáfẹ́fẹ́ ẹ bá tún oríkì mú dáadáa oríkì ó wà lé ní gàǹdí tó jẹ́ pé bá gbọ́ wọn mọ̀ wípé dájúdájú ṣe rí èdè tá à ń sọ lẹ́nu yìí ọ̀nà kan tí òfin ní parẹ́ òun náà ni wípé tá a ṣe ń sọ òyìnbó ẹ wò nígbà tá à ń sọ òyìnbó èrò pọ̀ tó ń wo ètò yìí wọ́n sáré wọlé wọ́n wò torí pé dé èbó ni gbogbo àwọn tẹ̀sí tó ń wọlé tó ń wo Yorùbá ni wọ́n o ṣùgbọ́n torí wípé nǹkan wa yìí ń jọ wá lójú tẹ́ bá tilẹ̀ tó ń sọ Yorùbá wọn ní ara oko ni wọ́n mọ̀ wò bí ẹni tí ò jáde ajáde àwa la jáde mọ́ tán lé ṣùgbọ́n èdè wa àtàṣà wa parẹ́ kò sí nǹkan tá a jẹ mọ́ ọmọ nípa ògì tó jẹ́ ká máa róṣọ mọ́. ojú òní tìyín ẹ fún mi ìṣẹ́jú kan kí n sáré ya àwọn ìlú àti àwọn ilẹ̀ tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá mo kí yín lọ́fà ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ ọlọ́fà mọ́jọ́ máa jókòó ìjàkadì mo kí lẹ́dẹ ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé òrógun ọmọ ajílá lọ́sọ̀ọ́ ọmọ ajífọ́ gbogbo dára bíi èpin mo kí yín lẹ́ jájá tán ọ̀fẹ́ tán lẹ́mọ́lẹ̀ pẹ̀rẹ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ ọba kábíyèsí ẹni ìtàn kábíyèsí kẹ́ pẹ́ lórí àléfà àwọn baba yín o mójúbà kábíyèsí mo súnmọ́ bá níwọ̀n ẹgbẹ̀fà mo jìnnà sọ́ba níwọ̀n ègbèje mo lọ sílùú Ọ̀yọ́ ọmọ òjò pàṣẹkẹrẹ ọmọ Àtìbà mo kí baba orí adé ikú bàbá yèyé ọmọ kúkú tí kò lè pa ọba Adéyẹmí bàbá mo kí yín o mo júbà yín mo sì júbà kò tẹ jókòólé mo kí gbogbo ládéládé ńlẹ̀ Yorùbá pátápátá mo kí ní Ìsẹ́yìn Òrò ọmọ Ẹ̀bẹ̀dìmọ̀kọ mo kí lọ́fà mo kí ní gbogbo ìlú káàkiri àgbáńlá mo kí ní Amẹ́ríkà mo kí ní Cuba ibẹ̀ náà àwọn Yorùbá mo kí ní Brazil mo kí ní Salvador gbogbo ìgbàlópátá ni mo kí n ò lólódì ẹnìkan ẹ̀kàlẹ̀ orúkọ mi ò yípadà èmi náà ni ọmọ yín ọ̀rẹ́ yín olólùfẹ́ yín Olúdárí Olúsan ọmọ olùṣọ́ àgùntàn Samuel Olúṣẹ́gun Olúsan èmi lọ́pàpá dámọ́ntàn fọmọkùnrin bọ̀ lálẹ́ ọmọ sì kan kábíbi kọ́lé sí ọmọ oníyan ọjọ́ kẹfà tí ń ṣe eruku lẹ́lẹ́ tòjọ́ òrì tiẹ̀ jẹ́ látìlẹ̀ ìyá mi lògì nípa bí ẹkùn bá bà mí ò sí nílẹ̀ ajá àsán tí bá ń bẹ́ ńlé adúmbù ẹran fún mi jẹ ọmọ orí mo lùsì lèmi ọmọ ajífọ́ rẹ̀ ṣe tẹ̀jẹ ọmọ ajífọwọ́ tiẹ̀ ṣe tí ó jẹ ọlọ́mọ dojú ti wá ọba ńlá ọba lórí ayé gbogbo ọba tó lọ́jọ́ ọba tó dìbò ọba tó làkókò ọba tó lànà ọba tó lòní ọba tó lọ́nà ọbẹ̀ yí ọba àbọ̀ ọba lórí ọ̀fẹ́ ó náà lọ́lọ́run olàfògo fún lórí èpè èyí tí wò wá ẹ jẹ́ kínú yóò máa dùn kẹ́ ẹ máa láyọ̀ ìlú Ìbàdàn náà bí lọ́mọ Ìbàdàn ní Olúyọ̀lé ìlú Ìbíkúnlá ìbẹ̀rí lójú ogun wọ̀ lẹ́yìn Jagunlabi Ìbàdàn mọ́jà tó fi kọ́ra wájú tó fi kó wọlé rú ọmọ agbósásá ọmọ yàyàyà mọ́yà Ìbàdàn ní jẹ́bẹ̀ ẹ ní wálẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí wò mí ojú òní tì ẹ má bá ń ṣí ètò yìí ẹ máa tààtà lógúnlógún ọ̀gá àgbà Opeyemi Adewale ní ń bẹ lójú òpó ògbóǹtarìgì sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ onímọ̀ ìjìnlẹ̀ nípa sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ ògúnnágbòǹgbò tí ń dátọ́ lẹ́nu ìpín ni wọ́n ẹ má bá ń ṣe ètò yìí ẹ má bá ń gbé wọn níyì ẹ má bá ń fi ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má bá ń fi wọ̀ wọ́n ẹ ní bínú ẹ̀yin Yorùbá tí ń gbé ètò yìí ẹ jẹ́ padà sínú èdè òyìnbó ní fẹ́rẹ́ńjógí mo ń padà bọ̀ n ò tí ì dé ẹ jẹ́ sáré gbàlejò mi rìn díẹ̀ ká lè jọ wọnú ètò yìí kó máa dùn kó máa lárinrin orí ó wọlé láìpẹ́ tá díẹ̀ jábìjẹ̀gbádùn ṣùgbọ́n ẹ rántí pé iléeṣẹ́ Labos náà ló ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ ètò yìí ẹ fẹ́ gbẹ́rù ká gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́rù ránṣẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ Labos náà nìkan làwọn ìgbàrí fún yín pínlẹ̀ kan lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà àlà ìpolówó ọjà náà di ètò yìí. Hey, thank you very much those of you that you are watching us. I really appreciate every one of you. Permit me, I know some of you don't understand Yoruba, but I have to do it. You know me that I love my culture and I love my language. So that is who I am. Okay, thank you very much. Let me quickly engage my guest in the studio. Oh, Mr. Opeyemi or Dr. Opeyemi Adewale, I really, really appreciate you. Let's quickly go to the business of the day. Let's look at your journey in media space and your experience. What can you tell us? What motivates you to take that career or to go to that space and say, no, I want to go in media? What motivates you? Why media?
Thank you very much, Dari. And in all sincerity, I always tell people that if parents could have their ways with children, I think mine could have also been an example of that. Because I remember when I was growing from, from childhood and all, from primary school days, my parents wanted me to be a medical doctor. Yes, because they would go like, yes, you're brilliant, you're this, you're that. So I had that notion of when I get to the secondary school, I would become a medical doctor. Then I proceeded to the secondary school, of course, GSS1, GSS2, GSS3. Then SS1, something happened. One, I just realized I had phobia for blood. And two things are very, very important when it comes to anything sciences, the medical sciences. You must pass mathematics, even if you rig around other subjects like biology, physics, and all. Mathematics is very compulsory for you. And as a medical person, you can't do without blood. So I told my parents, I said, I'm sorry, I don't like mathematics. In fact, I didn't pass it right from my GSS classes. I didn't pass mathematics. Anything figures, anything numbers, I never liked them. Then number two, I had phobia for blood. In fact, I could pass out seeing blood then. Then my parents got confused. They were like, so what would you now do? We thought you would be a medical doctor. Then one of my uncles said, okay, if he's got phobia for blood, if he doesn't like mathematics, then let him go to the arts and maybe become a lawyer. And I had uncles who were actually lawyers, and as I speak, they're still successful lawyers. Though one or two of them, and they passed on to glory. But then I still have some who are doing very, very well in the legal profession in Nigeria and outside of the country. So I was like, fine, I would go for law. But then I said, I'm someone who actually talks a lot, and I don't like it when people get cheated. And with the kind of legal system in Nigeria, for someone who is so vocal, who doesn't like to be cheated at all, I said I may end up getting into trouble. And who knows, somebody could kill me at one time or the other. So I said, no, I won't go into the legal profession. Then family issues came up. What exactly do you want to do? Medicine? No. Law? No. What do you want for yourself? Then I remember my teacher, my Yoruba teacher, called my mom and said, yes, Okwa is brilliant, but why don't you let him he likes languages, he likes anything communication. Why don't you let him go into communication? So, and I didn't even like mass comm in the first instance. I wanted either linguistics or international relations. So I said, yes, it's a good one that I would go for linguistics or I would go for international relations. All for my mom to just come one day and she brought the form of Bowen University for me. I was like, what is your jam now? And I'd already passed jam. And then University of Lagos had offered me admission, to come for linguistics. And I remember vividly that I had 246 in jam. And then there was no post UTME. So it was a free flow for me. The pathway was so good. I was about 10 on the admission list at University of Lagos. And my mom said no, my dad said no, my family said no. You're going to a private university, you're going for mass communication. I said, why? But what's the formula to be sure? They said no, that we don't want you to go through the problems at federal universities. One, strike issue, then two, cultism, issues today, issues tomorrow. I said, fine, that whatever happens, I'll just go and do what you guys want me to do. So, not that I liked mass communication, my interest was in linguistics, but I went to Bauer University. Then I began to fall in love with communication. And interestingly, I also have family members who are media professionals. They're actually journalists. And in fact, my uncle, my dad's immediate elder brother, just retired from active service at within Nigeria about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's December. But I never knew I would end up being a communication person. And that was how it all started. I went to Borough University, not willingly, because it was more of a forced thing. Uh, but then I began to enjoy my surgeon in communication. Then in 300 level, we were told to specialize. I wanted advertising, but one thing led to another. I mean, it's everywhere, whether private university or federal university, you'd always have some lecturers who could be terrible in quotes. Some lecturers will always want to frustrate you and make you feel bad, when you're taking some courses. So because of that, I couldn't go into advertising. Then I decided to go into broadcasting and applied communication. And that was what was my major before I finished at the university in 2008. And as God would have his way, I went to serve that's the National Youth Service Corps in 2008, and I was posted to Zamfara State. And interestingly, right from NYSC camp, I had this thing for the media industry. And I was telling my friends that I said, fine, I won't run anything on camp, but I know that it is either I'm posted to NTA Zamfara or I'm posted to legacy newspapers. People's attention, I just saw the boss of Zamfara Print and Publishing Company Limited, makers of legacy newspapers. So they came and they were like, "We're looking for Opeyemi Adewale." I said, "What?" So they said, "Oh, you've been posted to us as one of our core members." And I said, "Yes, that finally I got it." So I saw my letter of posting to Zafra Print Publishing Company, that's the makers of legacy newspapers, but now the paper has gone down, it's defunct. So that was how I started to work with them as a core member, as a reporter who was of NYSC. And 2 or 3 months after I started my NYSC, I was made the news and features editor for the monthly Coppers magazine in Zamfara State. And I was also working at the NYSC Secretariat as an editor for all their publications. So I was enjoying my journey into journalism. There was even a time I was presenting the program on Zamfara Radio, but I had to leave that to focus more on reporting at my office than to concentrate on what I was doing with the NYSC then. And when I finished my service, you won't believe that, contrary to what many people would say, that they didn't get jobs, I got 3 jobs at Zamfara State as a result of the things I was doing, because people began to know my name, they began to read about me and about my articles and publications. But I insisted on of the north, for that 1 year that I was coming back to Ibadan. Aside that, I'd already applied for masters at University of Ibadan, and I was seeing green light as at the time I was leaving Zamfara State. So I said, fine, that I would go back to Ibadan and pursue my master's degree in communications and language arts. And I remember somebody told me back then in Zamfara that you may think you wouldn't come back to the north, but something will still bring you back to the north. And let me shock you, Dari, that 10 years after I left Zamfara State, I found myself back in the north. That's 10 years after I left Zamfara, precisely 2019, because I had to go back to Kano to pursue my PhD. So, but back to Zamfara State in 2009, I came back home for my master's in communication and language arts. Then the following year, 2010, I started working with BCOS. But for like 6 to 8 months after my service, I was waiting for school to resume, because that was when ASU went on strike in 2009. So it was supposed to resume in September 2009, but nothing happened till December 30 when I got my admission letter. And lectures didn't start till March 2010, of the following year. So throughout that period, I wasn't working, but I did some private businesses for some people. Then when I started schooling for my master's, rather in March, the following month, I submitted my application to BCOS, that's a Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Then 2 weeks after, I was called upon to come and resume duty as an English presenter posted to Agility FM station of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. So I would say from there I started, working professionally as a media person. And for 1 year, I was in Ogbomoso. I was shuttling between Ogbomoso and Ibadan. Then in 2011, I changed my service from BCOS. I moved to FRCN, that's Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, in 2011, precisely June 20, 2011. So I was posted to Ibadan. And in 2015, I was posted to Elisha, that's Oshu State. And in 2016, I had to leave active service for so many personal reasons. And in 2018, I went into personal productions, I went into consultancy, and I also went back to school for my PhD. And I must tell you that at the moment, I'm almost done. And I'm glad that so far, so good. A whole lot of things have been achieved, and the impact is there. A lot of people are testifying to the things I've been able to do in terms of radio productions, in terms of news and editing, and in terms of advertising, because my area of specialization in PhD is online advertising. And I'm really, really looking forward to having that work submitted, done, and dusted. So that's how the journey has been so far.
Wow, wow, wow. What a beautiful, lovely journey. I just intentionally not interrupt you because I want you to pour out the reality about your journey to become a media. Some people are looking at you and saying, no, your face doesn't look like somebody that is in the media space. Some say that your face look more like somebody working in an office as a director general of one of the leading company like Tribune in Nigeria. So that's how your face look like. I said, no, probably very soon is going to be Minister of Communication in Nigeria. Probably is going to be one of the UN official aid for the
Amen.
president in media, or advisor to the president as a media personnel. No, really, I really love what you said, and I really, really appreciate your journey. It's a lovely thing and it's a beautiful thing. I really appreciate those of you that you are connecting as well. Thank you very much. But let me give you a taste of what this man capable of doing. I hope that we give you the clear understanding of what this program is all about. Before I start open the line to allow people to connect from the rest part of the world, let's quickly hear some of the work put together by this great African icon. Like I said at the beginning of this program, I listened to the documentary you put together for the Olubado of Ibadan. Is a lovely, beautiful one. And exactly 8 days ago, let's say 9 days now,
Mm.
I lost my father-in-law, Pastor, late Pastor M.O.A. Ogoyinka, an apostle in the body of Christ. And this great guest of mine put something together that blew my mind. It really blew my mind. And I told myself, no, this is lovely. Let's hear this. Everyone listening to us, kindly listen to this before we continue this program. All right, the media's okay. These guys are still putting it up. Why we are still putting it up? Please kindly share this program. If you can share this program, you give this program opportunity to go viral. So please share it. Thank you very much. Let's see what this vibrant young Africa is
There is a
capable of doing.
season, every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die. The Colossus of the Ogunyinka dynasty, Michael Ojo Ario Ogunyinka, is gone. Born on 10th March 1932 to the Ogunyinka family, Rikiti, Michael Ojo was an astute and erudite educationist. His prowess in the education sector started when he pursued a career in teaching, obtaining teachers' grade certificates 3, 2, and 1. He later proceeded to the University of Cardiff, Wales, for a Bachelor's of Science degree in gossip. Michael Ojo Ogun taught at various primary and modern schools in the country. His excellence in education took him to the peak of his career when he retired as the Inspector of Education in the Old Western Region and Ondo State. Indeed, Pa Michael Ojo Ogunyinka also excelled in other areas of life, especially in sports and music. Pa Michael Ojo Ario Ogunyinka devoted his life to service in the vineyard of Christ. He was a pastor in the Apostolic Church Nigeria between 1988 and 2012. He retired from regular pulpit service at the age of 80, having served as Bogor Area Superintendent and Pioneer Superintendent of Ikorodu area. Pastor and apostle in the body of Christ, Michael Ojo Ario Ogunyinka, joined the Saints triumphant on Thursday, 6th January 2022. 61 days to his 90th birthday. Papa's first grandchild, Michael Ogunyinka, gives a detailed account of his grandfather's life.
My grandpa, during his time, he was a great man, a disciplinarian. I saw him as an alpha male. He loved the things of God. He did the things of God, and he taught his children, even his grandchildren, how to follow the path of God. My grandpa was an educationist. There was virtually nothing he could not teach. That was a very good gift from God. My grandpa was also a very good musician. He was a choir master during his time and served in that position. My grandpa also was a kind of man that loved unity. He really wanted unity in the family, and at his time that was achieved. My grandpa is the best grandpa in the world.
Papa's legacies will continue to live on as one of his granddaughters, Glory Okunyi.
Thank you very much, those of you that you are joining us. That is just a taste of what this man puts together. And believe you me, I am very overwhelmed by the gift God gave to this great African legend. Believe you me, those of you that
Mhm.
you are listening to us,
Yeah,
for everything you need to know about media, please call us on +27 703 35 4. Now let's go to the business of the day. Media as a space in Africa. Mr. Opeyemi Adewale, I just want us to quickly look at a very, very important issue of the media space in Africa. The media space in Africa has been controlled by the West. That is the part we cannot shy away from that. But let's look at the issue of how we migrate our young generation into the Western ideology, most especially through the cartoons that our children, by the age of 6 months, they start watching cartoon, and that take most of the culture, language, and some other thing away from us. What do you think we can do as African intelligent person and as somebody that is very good when it comes to media? What can we do to make sure that we stop this and we replace this with something else that we make sure that we let our children see sense in our culture?
yes, and thank you very much. First and foremost, I think the mistake, or let me say, the fault did not just start from today. It started from years back when the media started growing in the country, and we had this thing for the Western media. Of course, we were colonized by the British, and there was no going back to the fact that there would be a whole lot of their own culture being imposed upon us. Fine, that has come. But then, as I said, years back, nothing was done by our previous leaders to ensure that our culture, takes the forefront. And I remember when I was growing up, it took NTA, which used to be the face of Africa's media, you know, years back. It took NTA a whole lot of time before they could come up with their own version of Sesame Street. I grew up watching Sesame Street, from the UK and all. It was that bad. So the fact that we have these cartoons with us, yes, we don't have a choice. It will always be there. But now we have different media organizations and different agencies coming to produce cartoons, produce animations, produce stories for children in our own languages. But the problem is the language barrier. You still see a whole lot of these things in English language. And to a very large extent, I would say English has become a language that unifies people in the country. We don't have any doubts about that. While that is there, a lot needs to be done to ensure that our children our people, because to a very large extent, I've been able to understand that a typical Hausa person will make sure that his child or all his children can speak Hausa, they can communicate in Hausa, they understand Hausa, they are very good when it comes to Hausa. The same thing goes to the Igbos. But when it comes to we, the Yoruba people, we have that problem. Many people would say, I don't want my child to speak Yoruba. Unfortunately, these people saying they don't want their children to speak Yoruba can't even speak Yoruba, can't even speak English properly. You get the problem. So while we have the cartoons, I would rather say that it behoves the parents, you know, to do their work. Don't say watch cartoons strictly in English, speak English. No, let them understand that there is a part of you that is Yoruba. They go to school, they learn English language, they watch things in English. When they come to the house, why should you continue to speak English to them? Speak Yoruba to these people. I'm emphasizing Yoruba because that is the problem. Honestly, let's give it to the Igbos, let's give it to the Hausas. They train their children to learn their local languages, but we don't. We Yorubas don't. In fact, for someone like me, it took extra effort for me, to try to train myself to learn to speak this language of ours, this rich, this beautiful language of ours called Yoruba. So I'm saying that parents should, on their own part, make sure that when their children come from schools and they watch cartoons, let them teach them the language. Let them speak the language to them. Let them converse in Yoruba language with these children. When they see things, on television, there's something about the power of the media violence, that whatever children watch is what they imbibe, is what they put into practice. But scholars have debunked that there are other factors attached to why children behave in such a manner. And you realize that children who don't have any parents or guardians to guide them through the things they watch end up becoming violent. I mean, you're seeing something on, I won't want to mention names of cartoon channels now, but your child is watching something on the DSTV or on another satellite television channel, and you just leave the child to it. The child begins to form some opinions in his mind based on the things he's exposed to. But if a child has a parent, a father or a mother who is always there to guide him, okay, you've seen this, this is how it's supposed to go. These are the things you're supposed to do. The fact that you're seeing this thing on television doesn't mean it's right. That is another problem we have in our society. A lot of parents are absent in their children's lives. Fathers will go to work as early as 7 o'clock, they come back by 9 p.m. Mothers will go to work as early as 6 a.m. They don't even know what their words are doing. They leave the care of their children to their housemaids, their house helps. And you realize that these children end up being at the mercies of these people. But the roles of the parents have been corroded. They are not there to tell the children what is right and what should be done when certain things come. So, in terms of our language, in, in terms of the things we are supposed to do, parents, I would say parents, number one, they are at fault, especially young parents. Young parents should take it upon themselves to make sure that they teach their children. They, their children have about 8 hours to spend in schools learning English, speaking English. But when they come back to the house, what do they say? What languages do they speak? They continue to speak in English. And there is nothing bad in you speaking the language to your child. There is nothing bad in you conversing with your child in Yoruba language. When they watch things, try to bring those things home to them. Let them realize that we have all these things in our own culture. And as I said, we have some organizations that are trying to come up with programs, with animations to teach our children. But it is not so common in our local languages. Well, I've been seeing a few of these contents on social media platforms and all, but the language of communication is still in English. As I said, we can't do without that because that is the language of communication, that is the language of commerce, and that is the language of education in the country. But then, when it comes to our own native language, the parents should take it upon themselves to make sure that their children know this language, they can speak the language. It starts from the home. If it doesn't start from the home, then there is absolutely nothing the society can do, to make sure that these children speak. As I gave the examples of Hausa and the Igbos, it is from childbirth. As the child is growing, they're speaking Hausa, they're speaking Igbo to them. So they understand Hausa and they can speak English. But what do we have in our Yoruba speaking part of the country? They will say Yoruba is vernacular. You don't speak Yoruba in my house. Why? And your name is Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. Agbabiaka or something, or Mr. and Mrs. Adeshino. But your child can't even say Eka Roma, Eka Rosa. I mean, it is appalling. So it starts from the home, especially the younger parents.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much. I like the way you handled that particular topic because it's important that we look into that before I take you in the journey. That is one of the greatest problems facing the Yoruba race. And you can imagine somebody that was brought up in the village, somebody that they use the money for farming to send to school.
Hmm.
Then he managed to make it to the limelight, now staying in Nigeria, staying in Ibadan, or staying in Lagos. Now he's now seeing the language as a barrier. Now he's telling his child, no, don't speak Yoruba again. I don't know who the damn, I don't know the problem. Personally, I don't know what the problem is, because we have opportunity. I've been listening to BCOS from, let me say, from 80s. And you see, all these things that today, I learn it from BCOS. My parents, I mean, make sure that we can speak Yoruba fluently. As a matter of fact, we don't know there's another language existing anywhere. All we know that the only language everyone in the world is speaking is Yoruba. Until when we get to school, we realize that if you cannot speak Yoruba, you are in trouble. So now, all this program by, the great presenter on BCOS, like Baba Leburubo, that we listen to early in the morning, those things make us to fall in love with Yoruba. Personally, I fall in love with Yoruba from my childhood. And I love to be a presenter from childhood. When I'm listening to Kololawuyi, all these brilliant presenters then. But I realize now that in the world of today, when they see that your content is more of Yoruba, it doesn't sell in market. I mean, nobody seems to go for it. Nobody seems to believe in it. But before we do that, let me just quickly allow one of the great leader also to join us in this one. With me in the studio, one of the great leader, one of the people that I love so much, one of the people that they have taken the media to the next level. I have Otuba Dr. Babatunde Tiamiyu, the GM, General Manager of the Pensioner FM Ibadan, the first pensioner radio in Africa. I have him online with me as well. That I just want us to rub minds together as a media guru to talk about what the problem, because this program is not just only for us to just have a program. We must bring something tangible out of this program that is going to find a permanent solution to the problem in our community. So let me allow Otuba Babatunde Tiamiyu to quickly step in. Otuba, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time out of your busy schedule. You still give us opportunity to be on this program. But do me a favor, kindly help me lower the radio at the background, or switch it off so that we can hear you very well. Welcome, sir.
Gary, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Pretoria. Good evening, Johannesburg. Good evening, South Africa. Good evening, Nigeria. Good evening, Africa. My name is Dr. Timiyu, General Manager, Pensioners 106.7 FM, Onireke, Ibadan. Unarguably, the first labor radio in the whole universe. Well,
Talking about let me talk about language and culture.
Let me talk about language and culture.
Otuba, sorry about that. I just want you to introduce yourself now. I don't want you to go to that topic straight away. Do me a favor. Can you please help me lower the radio at the background, because I'm hearing myself back.
Okay.
All right, sir. Okay, Otuba,
Right.
I appreciate your time and I appreciate what you are doing. You are one of the people that I believe that God put you into this world for you to be the helping hand to others, and also for you to take the media to the next level. Firstly, let me celebrate you and congratulate you for the new post. So we have many shows that you are featuring, but every time I feature you, I will still congratulate you. Even when you climb another ladder, I will still keep on. Congratulations, post of the GM of the first African pensioner radio station in the world and in Africa. Otuba, I have with me one of our very own, Mr. Opeyemi Adewale, in the studio that we are having conversation. What can you tell us about Mr. Opeyemi?
You are with you,
A man
a man
that has
that
continued
has continued
to struggle
to struggle
despite all odds,
despite all challenges,
despite all hindrances,
despite all hindrances,
encumbrance,
despite all comes
out and
to
come up
and
as a
come up
self-made
as a
man
self-made
and using his wealth of
man
knowledge,
and
enterprise,
using his wealth of
material,
knowledge,
talent,
enterprise,
everything
material,
God endowed
talent,
him with,
everything
to touch
God
the life
endowed
of
him
humanity,
with to touch the life of
especially in the
humanity,
area of
especially in the
media
area of
broadcasting.
media
Talk of
broadcasting,
journalism, talk
talk
of
of journalism,
program
talk of
presentation, talk
program
of
presentation,
advertising,
talk of
talk of
advertising,
training,
talk of training the trainer.
keep
First
the
and foremost,
rookies
training the
and
rookies,
training the trainer
and training
to
the
become
trainers to become
acceptable professionals
acceptable
in the media
professionals
industry.
in the media industry.
Dr. Opeyemi Adewale,
Dr.
by God's
Opeyemi
grace,
Adewale, by God's
has
grace,
been one of the
has been
solid
one of
pillars
the solid
of
pillars
pensioners
of
FM
pensioners
106.7
FM 106.7
Onireke, Ibadan,
Onireke,
right from
Ibadan, right
inception.
from inception.
Relationship between myself and
Relationship between myself
Dr.
and
Opeyemi
Dr.
Adewale
Opeyemi
started way
Adewale
back
started
FRCN,
way
Ibadan
back at
Zonal Station,
FRCN,
comprising of about
Ibadan
7
Zonal Station,
FM stations
comprising of
across
about
the states
7 FM
in the
stations
southwest.
across the states in the
Ever since then,
southwest. Ever since
I'm
then,
talking about
I'm talking about
2010
since
that we've known each
2010
other at
that we've
Radio
known each other
Nigeria,
at Nigeria
Obadebimpe Road, Ibadan.
Obadimpe Road in
We stick
Ibadan.
together like
We stick
motherly
together
born
like
brothers.
motherly
He's
born
a humble
brothers.
man,
He's a humble
a
man,
selfless man,
he's a
a
selfless
man
man,
that wants
a man that
everything
wants
good for fellow human beings,
everything of
a man
fellow
that is
human
ready
being,
to
a man
sacrifice
that is ready to
everything God has
sacrifice
endowed him
everything
with
God has endowed him
for
with for
the development
the
of
development
every other
of
person that
every
comes
other person that
his way.
comes
How
his
much
way.
more do I want
How
to
much
say?
more do I want to say?
Opeyemi
Opeyemi
Adewale has
Adewale
been,
has been,
in summation,
in
a
summation,
destiny
a
helper.
destiny
To
helper.
myself,
To
Dr.
myself,
Babatunde Tiamiyu,
Dr. Babatunde
person,
Tiamiyu, as a
and
person,
to
and to
entire
the
staff
entire staff
of Pensioners
of
FM.
Pensioners
So
FM.
today, we are
So
hosting
today, you are hosting
a man
a man
destined to be great,
destined
and
to
by
be
God's
great,
grace,
and by
I
God's
know very
grace,
soon
I
we'll
know
be hearing his
soon
name
we'll be
in
hearing
higher
his name
places,
in
even
higher
beyond the
places,
shores
even
of
beyond the
Africa.
shores of Africa.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Thank you very much, Otuba. I really, really appreciate that. But having said that, Otuba, you have one or two questions that is bothering your mind, even though Dr. Opeyemi is close to you, but you don't have that opportunity to ask those questions. Let me use this medium for you to throw that question to him. Do you have one or two questions on your side there that probably you want to ask?
Well, I wouldn't want, want to call it,
Want
call
to
it a question per
call
se.
it a question
I
per se,
would rather
but I
say
would rather say
that
that
people listening to us,
people listening to
especially
us,
journalists
especially
and broadcasters,
journalists and
we have something
broadcasters,
to learn
we
from
have
what I'm
something to
about
learn from
to
what I'm
ask
about
Dr.
to
Opeyemi
ask
Adewale.
Dr. Opeyemi Adewale.
What we know much
What
about
we
journalism
know much about
is all this
journalism
issue of
is all
who
this
said
issue
what,
of
where,
who
yes,
said
all this
what,
five
where,
W
and when, all
and A.
these five
But
W's and
for
H.
any
But for
journalist that
any
wants to
journalist
develop
that
himself
wants
and
to
become
develop himself and
somebody
become
in the profession,
somebody
you must
in
go
the
with the
profession,
tide
you
of
must
time.
go with the touch of time.
Today, what
Today,
we hear almost
what we
everywhere
hear
is do
almost
more
every
of
is do
investigative
more of
journalism.
investigative
But the world
journalism.
has moved.
But the world has moved.
Presently, that's what we call
Presently,
impact
that's what they call
journalism.
impact
And that is what I
journalism.
want
And that
Dr.
is what I
Adewale to
want Dr.
explain more
Adewale
about.
to
What
explain more
exactly
about.
is
What
impact
exactly
journalism
is
and
impact
how
journalism,
and what
and
way
how
can we
what we
feature it and
can we
bring it
feature it
home
and bring
into
it
Africa,
home
then
into
to
Africa,
Nigeria media
then to
space.
Nigeria media space.
Wow,
Thank you
wow,
very
wow.
much,
In
sir.
fact, Dr. Opeyemi, before you respond to that question, Dr. Opeyemi, I just want to do something very significant on this program. You know, when you have opportunity to see people telling you to your face who you are, your contribution to humanity, that is a great gift because that is one of the things that will lack. Africa good, they will never you. Africa will never tell you you're good. They will just tell you, okay, but we, the African part, we are changing the narrative. And one of the things that we are doing is that we want to celebrate people when they are still here. I want to tell you the good side of yourself. And I want to tell you what I think is not right, right in your face. We celebrate ourselves. You know, Africa is a continent whereby when people die, people will travel all the way from America to come and bury one person. But when they're alive, they don't do this person, they don't appreciate this person, they always talk down this person, backbiting, fronting, and everything. But when this person died, he become a good person. Baba Dada, but before this man died, he's a bad man. Everybody will say, Olori Buruku Babofo. But let him die. The Babofo now will become a good father. So those are the things that we want to change the narrative by making sure that promote African, we promote African citizens, celebrate people when they are here. All right. So Baba to tell me the destiny of the African by telling you what is know about you. But before I let you answer that question, please, people, I dedicate 2 hours for this program. I don't want to bore you, but we have to do this. Reason being that is part of our life. Otuba, I've spoke so well about you. Otuba already gave us a question about impact journalism, which you are going to handle that as a lecture on this program as well. You're going to go deep into that. But before that, I want you to do something. Quickly celebrate Otumba in 1 second. Then we go to the business of the day. Otumba, I appreciate you so much. You just watching us behind the scenes. Join us on Facebook as well.
Sorry,
Gary, before you go, hello?
All right, I'm here.
I just want to tell you that as part of his humble years, he was the one that prepared the script and voice, that script on our late papa, the late Marco Boyinka that just played a while ago. Dr. Opeyemi
Exactly.
Adewale
Dr. Opeyemi Adewale was the one that did the scripting and the voicing of the commentary.
I get that. I get that. And I already put that on the space as well to celebrate him. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I firstly introduced on this program where we started was the one that he put together for the Olubado of Ibadan, the late Olubado of Ibadan, the great man of our time. I mean, that is a beautiful, lovely one. Everyone getting that, they really, really love it. So I also played the one for Baba Guyeka as well on this broadcast.
So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
All right, Otuba, do me a favor. Do me a favor. I know the question that you put on ground is not a question per se. It's actually a topic in its own. So just watch us behind and join us on Facebook. It's live on our website www.theafricanportal.co.za. It's live on YouTube as well, and also it's live on Facebook. So please kindly help me share it. Invite more people to join us because we are going to the aspect. We've spent exactly 1 hour on this program. We are going to the aspect of what we are here for, which is also, Dr. Opeyemi is going to lecture us on impact of impact journalism. What is the meaning?
Right,
thank you so much. I celebrate you. That is the GM of Pensioner FM. Thank you so much, Otuba Babatunde Tiamiyu. Thank you. All right. Opeyemi Adewale, doctor, kindly quickly celebrate Otuba. Then you take that journey by telling us the impact journalism. What is it all about? What's the investigative journalism and the rest? The impact is kind of very new in this space and in this part of the world. I just want you to lecture us on that. I leave the floor for you for another 5 minutes. I'll see you in another 5 minutes. You are now a lecturer on this program. So the floor, you will not see me on the other side. It will be only you on the screen. So people listening to us, take your pen and paper to drink from this well of knowledge. God bless you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dari. And I really want to appreciate the general manager of Pensioners 106.7 FM, Barry Godeweke Bado, a person of Dr. Babatunde Tiamiyu. I would say I got to meet Dr. Babatunde Tiamiyu way back, even before we became colleagues at Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. I started watching him right from the days of Galaxy Television when Galaxy started in Ibadan. Sometime in 93, 94, he used to be on Yoruba News, and since then, I'd always kept my tab on him. And as fate would have it, we got to meet at Radio Nigeria. And I would say one thing about him is Dr. Tiamiyu is a dogged person, and he's somebody who is always willing to learn and to give it all it takes to excel in whatever you give him to do. Even if it's something as small as this, it will make sure he gives it all it takes to make the thing work just the way you want it, even beyond the way you want it to work. That's how far Dr. Babatunde Tiamiyu will go in ensuring excellence in whatever thing you tell him to do. But it could overdo things at times when it comes to the job because it just doesn't want any stone unturned. That is him for you. He will make sure he gets to the bottom of everything you tell him to do. So I would say he's a good person, and the Lord will continue to strengthen him, and He will give him the grace, to steer the ship of this great station, Pensioners FM. Thank you so much. And now to impact journalism. In fact, I'm glad this topic cropped up today because I remember sometime in 2019, I had the opportunity of doing a short lecture on impact journalism. And basically, it's moving from one form of from one stage of journalism to another stage of journalism. What used to be in vogue is investigative journalism. Okay, something happens today, then we send in reporters, go and find out what is happening. Go and find out what happened there and how it happened. So reporters will go to the scene of the incident or the accident. They will go ask questions from passers-by. They will ask questions from police officers, from security agencies concerned, and from whoever could be of help to them. They bring in their reports to the newspaper industry or to the media house. They write their reports, they edit their reports, and that's it. Once the report is aired or the report is printed, that is the end of that report. It is just a few people that will take it a step further to maybe ask questions about how far that thing has gone. And it has always been like that for years. People just stop at that point of the report has been aired, the report has been published, and we move on to another report or to another story for the day, basically. But impact reporting goes beyond investigation. It goes beyond just asking questions. It goes beyond you just going to the scene of the incident or you witnessing the accident. It is all about what happened. It's all about how it happened. Then the effect of the incident or the event on various people that are concerned or various people that are attached to the incident. I'll give two examples or three examples. First, Malala Yousafzai, that young Afghanistan girl who was shot in the head when she was clamoring for girl child education, or better still, for the education of women. And you would remember how media organizations in the entire world took up that story, and it was daily reports, daily issues, daily activities, back to back reports on Malala Yousafzai's health and how the Taliban, were depriving women of their rights to education. And after 2 or 3 years, you would realize what that brought about. That is the essence of impact journalism. Impact journalism will take you from the stage of just investigating the story to you making an impact in the society, to you contributing something tangible to a particular thing in society. In fact, in some situations, impact journalism may end up resulting into you championing a cause, into you starting an NGO just for that particular situation that has happened. Now, something happened in Lagos last year. A 21-story building collapsed. An impact out of that thing. Fine, journalists have gone to the site of the incident, they've reported, they've asked questions, they've gone to find out who gave approval even when the building was sealed. But then to make it impact journalism, after all has been said and done, then you begin to look at the effect of the building collapse on the owner of the building, who unfortunately died. inside the rubbles. The effect of that situation on the owner's family members, the effect on the workers, on the families of the workers who lost their lives, on the families of the workers who got injured, on Ikoyi itself, on Lagos Housing Corporation, because it got to the extent that some people had to be suspended, because we got to know that the governor himself said work should stop on that building. So the effect of that building collapse on the job of those who actually gave approval for the continuation of that building collapse, of that building rather, which led to the collapse of it at the end of the day. So the impact of that, the effect of the suspension of Mr. Governor on that man or those connected to that building collapse, their family members, then those who actually make their means of living from that building, from that site. I mean, those selling things, because we got to know that there was a woman who used to come there to sell, is it rice and beans, and she also died, you know, in that accident. What will happen to the people she was using the money she made from that building to feed? Her children, her husband, her family members. Then you look at what will happen in the future to further structures that will be erected at Ikoyi, looking at Lagos housing laws and everything that has to do with structure erection at Ikoyi. Then, after all that has been done, now take a break, maybe 2 or 3 months after. Then you go back to the Lagos State Ministry of Housing. You go to ask questions. What happened? What has happened after 3 months at Ikoyi? Have you been able to come up with better ways or with better legislations and rules to building constructions based on recommendations given to you by experts, by civil engineers, by building construction guys that have been working to make sure that buildings confirm with and to lay down rules and regulations of the Lagos State Housing Corporation. So 3 months after, you go back to ask questions. What have you done to make sure that people conform to lay down rules and regulations? So if they say, okay, nothing has been done, then you take it a step further. You go ask questions from civil engineers, then you make your way to see the governor himself. Sir, this happened 3 months ago, and we went to the Ministry of Lands and Housing or something to ask if you have put in appropriate legislation to make sure that such a thing does not occur again. So whatever the governor says will spur you, to ask further questions, then to now go back to the Ministry of Housing to tell them, okay, the governor has said this and this and this are going on about building constructions in such a place. Then you now begin to ask them questions. How do you think this will work? What is your advice to owners of various structures or owners of businesses who may want to put up such a structure, in the future? What are the things they are supposed to do? Then you now look at the economic impact of erecting such high rise at this time, looking at what they stand to gain, what they stand to lose, what the society stands to benefit from such structures if fully completed. So it's not about just you doing a story, it's about you taking it further to look at how it will affect the immediate society, the larger society, body of professionals, body of experts, family members, and every stakeholder who is connected to that particular event. In fact, it may interest you to know that just one story, just one accident can be connected to thousands of people, and you realize that at the end of the day, your impact reporting will end up championing a cause. Like what happened to Malala Yousafzai when the Taliban took over Afghanistan last year. The first thing that came to mind was women will be in trouble, and people went back to what happened to that poor girl. She's now married and she's graduated from a UK university. If she had died at that time, what would have happened to what she did? But thank God she didn't die. The journalists took it over and they began to report on it, began to work upon her health. I also remember another situation where a particular girl was being transferred from, I think, one Asian country to another Asian country. And all she could do was just to make a short video. And she sent it to one of her friends that she should please alert whoever she can alert, that her parents are taking her, as a child slave to another Asian country. And one thing led to another. Journalists were able to pick it up. Then they began to trail her flight. They trailed her telephone number. They trailed her phone box itself. They trailed the flight she was on. They trailed her destination. They found out the people who she was on board with, to the extent that they were able to alert officers at the receiving end, of the airport she was going to. And from that end, they took her up to a hotel which has been secured, and they began to follow up on her story. They were able to finally get to her parents. They got her parents. They asked her parents questions, and it had to go on and on and on until they were able to get to the bottom of the case, and they realized that the girl was to be forced into marriage in her own place, but against her own wish. So she decided to take laws into her hands. But her parents got to find out about it. So they cornered her, so to speak, and they bundled her and said she was going into another country. And that was how it all started. Then she began to move on, and journalists were keeping tab on it. They were keeping tab on it to the extent that they were able to rescue her. And before we knew what was going on, the story began to flow, on various American TV stations, and they were calling for justice on her. So one good thing impact reporting will do for you is it will help you to champion a, a good cause in the society. Maybe it can lead to you championing a cause against child trafficking, championing the cause against child labor, against rape, against against people who peddle drugs, against drug traffickers and all. So it's not just about going to a place to investigate what has happened. It's about what the story will will do for me as a reporter, will do for the people concerned, and will do for the larger society. That is what impact journalism is all about. Not just staying there and floating the story on your radio station or on your TV station or on your newspaper outfit. No, it goes beyond that. It's about what will happen if this continues. What will happen if the trend is not checked? And you will realize that this is what a lot of our international media gurus are latching on at the moment. They are latching on impact reporting at the moment because they know at the end of the day, it will not only boost their professional stance, it will also rub off on their media houses. It will also rub off on the society in which they are working. That is how it goes on impact reporting. And if we as Africans can toe this line, we have a lot of stories that we can follow up. It's just unfortunate that so many things have been happening in Nigeria. Look at the case of Leah Shuaibu. Look at the case of the girls, the girls that were taken some 8 years, that led to bring back our girls. Yes, they've been saying so many things about bring back our girls, but many journalists have, they've given up hope of getting all these girls back. Leah Shaibu is still in the news because we keep on getting some stories from her and all. If journalists can decide to make an impact out of it, they shouldn't stop talking about Leah Shaibu. They should make sure that they keep in touch with her parents and do everything they can to make sure that a recurrence doesn't come up. That is impact. Look at what is happening to Dowen College. Last week we got the final report of the autopsy on that poor boy's death, and the Lagos State Commissioner said, Lagos State Commissioner of Police said the boy died a natural death. And just yesterday, I saw what Charles TV has been doing in terms of pressing on, asking more questions from the family, from the father, from the mother, from the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, from the Lagos State Ministry of Health, from Dowen College. They're trying to make sure that this issue gets to a logical end. And if possible, what can be done to forestall a recurrence? And this has also led to a senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, to lend his voice to what should have been done in the first instance before the news of the boy's death, was broken to the family members. So that is what impact journalism is all about. You take the story, you look at what has happened, you dissect the story, you bisect it. What happened? What led to it? How did it happen? Then you begin to look at those connected to the story. one way or the other. As I said some minutes ago, that thousand people connected to it. So if you want to make an impact of that story, you try to trace all these people who are beneficiaries or who are victims of this issue, of this event. You ask them how it has got to them, what they are doing to survive, and how they want to get out of the storm or of the situation. And before you know what is happening, you will be able to present a logical case to the society. The people you are working with will know that truly and yes, truly, you have what it takes to to better the lot of the society. And honestly, if we all as journalists can, it is not easy. Let me just say it. It is not easy to go into impact reporting because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of your resources, it takes a lot of strength, it takes everything in you. It's like you're dedicating your entire life to pursuing a cause. Just the way our activists will do. They are championing a cause. That is what you are also doing. In fact, it may take you 6 months, 8 months, even a year or two, just to make sure that you bring out something logical out of the situation or out of the accident or out of the event that you're trying to report. And it goes beyond just asking questions. No, it's about giving your entire life to it.
Mm, mm, mm. Wow, 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 wow. No, I just want to appreciate you for that beautiful installation on impact journalism. For those of you that you are listening to us, I hope you have got one or two from that. A lot of people trying to call us, a lot of people are commenting, a lot of people are watching. I just want to say thanks to every one of you that you are watching, every one of you that you are listening. I really, really appreciate every one of you. All right, okay, that is a very beautiful explanation. One of the things that I always try to put into the space to people is that there is a saying that say we need to kill the corruption. If we fail to kill corruption, corruption will kill us. And that is exactly from what example you give us. That is what we are now in the current world. And as a media giving an example of what happened in Lagos of the building 350 degree collapse and kill a lot of people. The impact of it is very huge because a lot of lives died in that incident, and a lot of people depend on those people that die. So that is one of the things. Look at it now. Many years back, Chief Opeyemi Adewale built Cocoa House, which is 25 floor. Cocoa House is still standing strong because it was well and it was well carried out. I mean, look at it, 21 floor in this century. Us that there is something that we need to do on our own part, especially the media. We need to educate people about how we can do things in the right way. Because I realize that most of the progress that the previous fathers, the previous generation, they achieved, most of them based on the media. Look at BCOS Ibadan. Look at the achievement. I mean, that we can refer to great journalists that they are all use their space to educate people. I remember in those days in Ibadan, there's a jingle that used to come out on BCS. Ario, ìwọ tó ń ta wọ́n bá po alápò, kai olè ní ọ́. You see, those are the things that bringing a caution to the
To
community.
people.
They that and somebody is about the person was shocked, like, oh, it's like they see me, I'm doing this. But all those things have been removed from our media space. Dr. Opeyemi, what can we do to bring the dignity and the glory of the media back to this generation?
Thank you so much, Dari. And that's a very, very important question that I always look forward to answering anytime I have the opportunity, to speak with people. Number one, I would say um, the dignity of the media has been eroded for so long because of the kind of climb we found ourselves in as African media people. While a lot of veterans, started this job, they told them it is all about service to people, service to humanity, adding value to people. It is all about public interests, value, service to people, service to humanity, and public interest. But what do we have now? People are pursuing money. People are pursuing self fame, self aggrandizement, all because of the situations they found themselves in. And this is attached to so many things. If journalists can decide to see themselves as as a catalyst for change in our society, in our African societies, as the case may be, things will be better for our African continent in general. And I mean it by every sense of it. Because, as I said, many journalists are pursuing money, they are pursuing fame, they are pursuing position. They leave out the three things I mentioned: value, service to the people, service to humanity, and public interests. And these are the things that actually make you a professional. These are the things that are supposed to stand you out. But then, what do we do in a situation where journalists are being owed salaries for months? How do you expect a journalist to cope in that situation? How do you expect a journalist not to compromise dignity? A situation where a journalist works under duress, a situation where media professionals have to conform to laid down rules and regulations of a particular media house because the ownership structure of that media house is vested, in certain political affiliation. And that's why we'll always talk about the political economy of the media. Who owns the media? To a very large extent, this has been affecting the productivity of media professionals in the country. And you tend to ask questions: are these people really doing what they're supposed to be doing? You realize that internationally, we have some laid down principles for media, for journalism. You have truthfulness, you have objectivity, um, you have you have timeliness, you have sensationalism, and you have fairness. You're like, where where do people throw all these things when you read some stories, when you listen to some stories on air? You're like, there is no truth in this. You are just embellishing what is not. You're just trying to paint the company. You're trying to paint your own company, as being sacred, and putting other organizations, pulling them down, all because you want to save the interest of your own proprietor. That was why I said the political structure, the political economy of each media organization goes a long way in determining what happens to journalists, the kind of things journalists will churn out, the media structure, the media ownership. Then economic situation. Everybody wants to ride big cars. Everybody wants to live in big houses. Everybody wants to have money. But then you realize that there are certain things you want to do that you will find yourself being infringed. You can't even go there. You can't even say those things. You can't even do those things because you find yourself reporting in some situations, and they'll give you something, some PR, that's brown envelope, and they'll tell you, "Kini yo law." In that situation, you've collected money. What do you do? And your guy is interested in money, not what you have to say. In that situation, you are caged. If you don't conform to the rules, then you have to leave. And where is the job out there? Let me give an example. In Nigeria alone, we have about 500 radio stations. Oyo State alone has more than 46 radio stations. So if you're saying you cannot conform to this, then please leave. Whereas the other stations you think you're going to, they have their houses filled up. So what would you do in that kind of a situation where if you don't dance to the tune, then you will be X'd? If you're not sent out of job, something may happen to you at the end of the day. So the gist is, if all media professionals, if journalists, reporters, broadcasters, whatever we call ourselves, if we can decide to do the right thing, those three things I talked about: dignity, self dignity, dignity of the job, very very important. If you have your self dignity and you realize that the job on its own has its own dignity. Then, two, service. You are a reporter, you are a journalist, you are a broadcaster. It is your duty to serve the people. You tell them objectively. If it's all about politics, you balance things out. You don't say, because you have this political affinity to a particular political party, then all you're doing is to paint the image of that political party all alone. You're not doing yourself any good, and you're doing a disservice to the people you're supposed to serve. You balance things out. If it's PDP, I'm sorry, I'm using Nigeria's situation because we have two major parties, APC and APC. If you're talking PDP, you bring APC along, you balance things out in the studio or when you're writing your report. That is service to the people. Then public interest. You are not just there to throw anything at them. No, you're there to make sure that their interest is served in all ways. In all ways. You just don't go blabbing on air. You don't go lambasting people, calling people names, making them feel bad about themselves. No, and a whole lot of media professionals nowadays don't adhere to the ethics of the profession. I was talking with someone yesterday. I said it has gotten to a point where people don't even give regard to the minor any longer. You hear reports about rape. It is bad enough that somebody was raped. Then the rape involving an adult man and a 2 year old or a 3 year old girl, then you hear reporters or newscasters painting graphic images of the child involved in the rape situation. They will tell you how the man took the girl's clothes, how he forced the girl, and they'll paint images in you, and you're like, what is this person saying? The same thing goes for accident situations. You are not supposed to make people scared, especially on radio, even on television. But what do we have today? People throw caution to the wind. Reporters throw caution to the wind. They say all manners of things just because they want to sell their station, whereas it is wrong. Even in newspapers and online media, journalists are at fault in this situation. Fine, it goes beyond you blurring the eyes of the minor involved in any rape accident or whatever situation. You don't go writing full details in such a way that people will be able to identify who the child is or trace the child to a particular house, to a particular church, or to a particular family or lineage. All these things are wrong. They are there in the code of ethics. But what do we have now? People throw caution to the wind. They don't even adhere to all these rules and regulations again, and you hear all manners of things. You read up all manners of things in the newspapers. So it's all about we as media people to call ourselves to order. These are the rules and regulations. Our job requires dignity. Our job requires that we serve the people. Our job requires that we place public interest above any other interest. And we try to adhere to the ethics of the profession. Yes, the bottlenecks are there in terms of the ownership of the media platforms we work with. But then if we want to stand as one, that's why we have associations. If we want to stand as one, we can come together and say no to certain things. We want to do our job the way we should do it. Then things will change if truly we want to be who we are supposed to be. I mean, free speech, yes, there's free speech, there's freedom of information and all, but you realize that some people are actually misusing all these things. And you're like, yes, we've gotten what we wanted, but why would you go to this extent of now turning or of misrepresenting things at the end of the day? Then you go like, this is crazy. I don't even want to work in the media outfit any longer because you're not proud of being a media person when you listen to certain things on air. Hello. 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 Am
Thank
I
you
still
very
on?
much. I intentionally sure that I
Am I still on?
draw
Okay,
from
yes, yes.
this well. I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm enjoying the explanation, and I want to thank you very, very much for the time that you actually take to make sure that you explain in details. See, I interrupt you. I intentionally leave you because I know you are one of the people that there is so much in you to pour out, and that is exactly what we are here for. All right. Before we round up this section, and believing that we'll bring you back soon, what can we say? What motivates you, and where do you see yourself in the next coming 10 years? And who are the people you look up to that is giving you hope, that there is a hope for you as a media personnel?
Yes, thank you so much, Jerry. I believe the future is bright, and in a couple of years, I see myself doing better than I am at the moment. And I must say that there's a whole lot of room for improvement, for development, especially for someone like me, because I've always had it in mind that whatever I do, I want to make positive impact. As long as people are doing well and they can lay claim to the fact that thank God I went through the tutelage of this person, I'm good. I'm glad about that. That gives me a whole lot of joy, and that is what I really want to keep on doing. Keep on doing what I love to do, and keep on learning to improve upon myself, and to make sure that I'm able to set up, a befitting communication structure where people will not only come there and listen and get something good, but they will also go back home and be better people for themselves. And I would say there are people out there that I look up to because they've made a whole lot of impact in this profession. For example, Cyril Stober has been doing so well for himself, and then the likes of Eugenia Abu. I had the chance of speaking with her. In fact, I've spoken with her about 2 or 3 times, and we discussed at length. And the things she told me, honestly, permit me to use this word. The things she told me really burst my brain. When I got talking with her regarding her journey so far in the media profession and what she's doing for herself. So the likes of Cyril Stober, the likes of Eugenia Abu, the likes of my general manager here, actually doing well, who know what they are doing. Because it is not about just saying, I like this person. No, I know what I want from you. If you're not someone of high integrity, I'm sorry, I can't have anything to do with you. If you're not someone who has dignity, who understands this job, if you're not someone who places service, who places public interest above any other interest, I'm sorry, I can't deal with you because that is not me. That's not who I am. So I look forward to working with people who belong to this cadre that I just talked about, so that we can together make our society a better place. Because if our country is not good, believe you me, there is no way we can make any other person's country better. That is what many people don't understand. If we in Nigeria cannot decide to make things work, especially in our own media industry, why are we going into other people's industries to go make it better? How many Oyibos will bring in blacks like us from Nigeria to come and cast news for them on BBC, on CNN? All my life, I've only known just one person who was on BBC News, who was black, who was actually a Ghanaian black person. The man is late now, Komla Jumo. I'm sure you may have heard about him. If I'm not mistaken, he was the only Ghanaian who was in Ghana and was taken to the BBC to take this for them. Every other black person has been taking African stories, African BBC, African this, African that. The same thing for CNN. So, which tells us something that you guys have all it takes to make your space work. Once your space works, what I look forward to.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Beautiful, beautiful. This will be the last question before I switch off from the English section of this conversation and go back to the Yoruba and round up this section until we bring you back to this beautiful global voice on the app. Happening in the world that you want it to now, and what it is that is happening in the world, you are happy with it and you want it to continue.
So again, please. Sorry, question again, please.
Can you hear me? Okay, the
Yes,
question
please. Yes,
again.
please.
What is
Yes.
it that is happening in the world, that is happening right now in the world, that you want it to stop right now?
Okay.
Is it that is happening in the you are happy, want it to continue?
Thank you very much. In fact, the first and major thing that I wish would come to an end is this issue of COVID-19. On a very serious note, COVID-19 has destroyed a whole lot of things. It has destabilized a whole lot of things. In fact, it has injected more fear into people. And I was telling people that here in Nigeria, people are battling with a lot of problems already. And to make it worse, COVID-19 came in from somewhere. And people are like, what is this story or no? And to make matters worse, Omicron variant is there and people are shouting. What exactly is going on? So I'm just praying to God that God should please help us take this thing off, take this coronavirus thing off, because it has affected every aspect of the economy. Talk about finance, especially SMEs, businesses in the country, they are affected. And up to this moment, a lot of businesses are still struggling to get to their feet. A lot of people are struggling to make ends meet. And in fact, I was also affected, if not for COVID-19 and of course ASU strike and all. I should have finished my program by now. So a lot of people have been affected one way or the other. And to even make it worse, the economic implication is not interesting. It is not good at all and at all. Already we're battling with inflation, then rising dollar, then Omicron came, sorry, COVID came, then the various variants, economies were shutting down, aids were not coming from supporting governments and all. So it's terrible. It's terrible. I just pray that in good time we'll be done with this issue of COVID-19, whatever variants and all. Then what I really want from the world right now is for people to realize that uh, the world can be a better place if we try to do what is right. But the problem is we know what is right, but the other aspect of human nature would not want human beings to do the right thing. And if a few people can decide to do the right thing, and it starts from the house, from the family, which is the smallest unit of the society, if husbands and wife can decide to do the right thing, you know, it will flow to the children. Then from the children, it will flow to the institutions, to the primary schools, to the secondary schools, then to religious organizations, then to our political sphere. But everything starts from the home. A lot of families have gone apart just because they are not ready to do what is right. The husband wants to do this way, the woman wants to do this the other way. There is no synergy, there is no communication, there is no cooperation, there is no togetherness. And this is what is affecting, this is what the children are seeing. So if the families can come together, we want a good society, but the families are not helping matters. So if husbands and wives can decide to do the right thing and be contented with whatever they have, you will realize that it will affect the larger part of our society and we won't even have so much to deal with. Yes, we can't have a perfect society, but then we can curtail a whole lot of challenges that are facing us if we can decide to
Wow,
start from the
wow,
home
wow,
first.
wow, wow. Thank you very much for your response and thank you for a full explanation that you give on that. As we wrap it out of this program, I remember when you are say you to a nursery school and go to the nursery school is the time when the nursery school is not as many as it is now
Yeah,
because every bus stop, every street, every corner is a nursery school and the
yeah.
educational system in Africa have becoming a mess. We are going to talk about that when next I'm bringing you back. Let's talk about about The media as well and the radio station everywhere is the same thing like in nursery and primary school. Radio station here, radio station in Oyo State alone, they will have a lot of radio stations. Do you think this is going to do us any good? Do you think it's a good thing for us to be having many radio stations as it is now? What is your thought about it, and what is the greatest learning from it to you?
Yes, thank you very much. It's a two-way thing. First, it's advantageous in the sense that people have varieties. You know, you're not just stuck to one radio station. You have varieties to choose from, to listen from. If you want to listen to music, you can tune into this station for music. If it's news you want, you can listen to this station for news. If it's sports, you can tune into this station for sports and all. But on the flip side, this will take me back to how to the American history of broadcasting. It got to a point where virtually every 100 meters you were having radio stations, and they were tagged pop and mom stations, and it's still in operation at the moment. To make things worse, online radio, online media now, virtually every 50 meter, you have a radio station. It's either a terrestrial radio station or an online radio station. Now, let me give an example. In Oyo State, in Ibadan alone, our area here at Dugbe, we have about 8 radio stations in Dugbe axis alone, which is not bad, sincerely, because as I said, people have a lot, to choose from. If you want to listen to news, fine, you can tune into news stations and all. But then, but then, the issue of funding may come in because funding is a major problem in the Nigerian media space at the moment. Funding is an issue. A lot of media houses, in fact, 90% of media houses depend on advertising, depend on revenue generated from advertising, and everybody is operating in the same environment. Look at Ibadan, for example. We have about 20 stations in Ibadan alone, about 25 or 30 in Ibadan alone. And everybody is going to the same Ibadan market. We are going to the same client for advertisement. If care is not taken, some stations may end up shutting down their services. You get. So while it is good, the flip side of it is some people may end up having problems when it comes to funding and financing of the radio station. That's on the part of the media people. Then on the part of those who listen to radio, as we speak, they may end up not getting what they actually want in terms of quality, because the motive behind you setting up a radio station will also determine the kind of things you will churn out on your radio station. And people doing, as I said the other time, about people throwing caution to the wind. You tend to hear a lot of things on air on to your radio station today, and I'm listening to trash. I won't listen the following morning, and I won't be willing to partner with you to bring in clients to your radio station. So by there, by so doing, your station is losing listenership, and there is no way you will lose listenership, that you will continue to work. You understand? And the fact that some radio stations are being floated by some political griots could also give a challenge, could pose a challenge, a threat to what the media should do. I'm not saying it is wrong for a politician to start a radio station. Get, but how many of our politicians are sincere with themselves, let alone with the people that they are supposed to lead? So you realize that these politicians go floating radio stations, floating TV stations, all for their own selfish interest. And if they can't realize their objectives, they just pull out and they leave the staff members to be fending for themselves. Then what do you expect of such a thing to happen to them? You realize that they're taking anything that comes their way. So it's a two-way thing. And now that online media has come, you can have 5 radio stations on the same building. In fact, we have an example close to us here. We have 2 terrestrial radio stations in the same building. Then we have online stations also operating in the next building to them. What do you do in that kind of a situation? So it's good for variety, it's good for whatever you want to listen to, but at the same time, it also has its own disadvantage, because you may end up not getting quality from all these radio stations if they don't do what they're supposed to do. Then, too, funding will also come in, and these stations may end up shutting down. Then influence of the structure of the ownership structure can also come in, and you realize that at the end of the day, what the station decides, that what the station had told you would come up is not what you're getting because of the ownership structure of such a radio station. And if care is not taken, I'm not a prophet of doom. After next year's elections in Nigeria, it's very likely that many radio stations may end up, pulling out of service, because let's be sincere with ourselves, many people are out there for what's going to happen next year. And if next year doesn't favor their ambitions, they don't expect anything good from them. Then what happens to we, the listeners, as the case may be? So that's just my take on radio stations coming in on a daily basis. I didn't want to use the word proliferation, because if we say something because if we use proliferation, it means it's a bad thing. But it's not really a bad thing as long as everyone has their own service, has the things they offer people. Like the UK, the US, they have specializations. Everyone has their own genres, and that's the beauty of media. We have radio formats. You can decide to go on your own radio formats, which is different from broadcast programming. If you have different formats, it is beautiful. You can choose to listen to anything you want to listen to that suits your own needs, that suits your interests, that will fed for what you want as a media consumer. That is good enough. But when these stations are not used the way they're supposed to be used, are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then there's a problem, there's a challenge.
Well, thank you very much. That is a beautiful, lovely explanation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, our time is fast spending, and I want to appreciate one of you that you are connecting to this broadcast. I want to thank you to you for being part of this journey. I took my time, and I'm intentionally to make sure that I drink from this well, and I want to thank you very much for your time to be on this broadcast. I hope if I call on you again, you will love to be here again.
Definitely, definitely. It's been a good time here. It's been a good time here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Keep doing the great work you are doing. Keep doing the right thing you are doing, and keep celebrating the Africa. Keep celebrating our culture. Keep celebrating our language. God bless you. What is that people should be expecting from you in the next coming? Probably you are putting something together. Maybe there is a rumor reality that you are just about to receive a doctorate degree. That is a very laudable one. Is that true?
Yes, please. Yes, please. In a couple of months, I'll be done with my.
Wow! Tell us a bit about it. From where? From which school? And when it's going to be?
Okay. I'm at the moment I'm tidying my documents and my research. I'm tidying things up. In a couple of months, I'll be submitting my final thesis at Bayero University, Kano. That was why I said 10 years after I left Zamfara State, I went back to the north in 2019 to pursue my PhD, still in media, in mass communication, and my major is on advertising, precisely how SMEs use online targeted advertising to help their businesses. And that was why I said I just hope coronavirus would go and go for the better part of it, so that our businesses can do well, and that our media people can also be good and will prosper. So in a couple of months, I'll be done with my PhD by God's grace. Then I'll be able to launch into other aspects of media and communications to help, to foster the good work that God has been helping me to do. And I must also say this, that just on Wednesday, the management of Pensioners FM gave me an award of excellence, which I didn't expect at all. I mean, it came as a shock, came as a surprise to me on Wednesday afternoon, and I was called upon and I was awarded. I said, "Oh wow, what have I done to deserve this?" from the management of Pensioners FM. So I want to say thank you so much to the committee of management of Pensioners FM, led by the general manager, Dr. Babatunde Tiamiyu, for recognizing hard work and for that great honor, that that was given unto me on Wednesday. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Everyone joining us, I hope you enjoyed this hour. It's a lovely, beautiful time with this great doctor to be. Is one of the people see media and embrace media and make media a way of life. I really appreciate you. I don't want to celebrate. I want to thank you to you for the work done for the late Pastor Emoyo Obuyinka. That's a lovely, beautiful one. Thank you very much for being the voice. Thank you for all you are doing to humanity. I celebrate you and I appreciate you. Keep doing the great work. The African Portal is a space whereby we always promote and we always showcase what you are doing. So people will be listening to us for you or they want to be part of you, they call you, they need an assistance. I don't want you to give your number out for security reasons, but you can put your Facebook and your Twitter, your handles, you can put it out. And at the same time, let me give you 1 minute to thank one or two people that have helped you in the journey before we call it a day.
Yes, thank you so much again for this opportunity. You can always join me on Facebook. It's my name, Opeyemi Adewale. It's the same thing on Instagram and on Twitter at Opeblack. That's OPEBLAC1. OPEBLAC1. That's my Instagram handle. Then on Facebook, to everyone who has been a part of my life, I want to say a very big thank you to being supportive, then to my aunties, my uncles, and to my friends who have actually turned brothers, to those who have actually believed so much in me, even when the storms came. When you go through certain things, the people you call friends would desert you. They will leave you to handle things yourself. But some people decided to stay, even when things were hard and terrible. I want to say a very big thank you to them, and I pray that God Almighty would bless them for me, will appreciate them for me, will continue to be with. Thank you to Dario Luso for bringing me on this platform this evening. Thank you so much, and keep up the good work. God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate it. To everyone that is listening to us, La Boss is the company that pay for this hour. And I want you to know that if you want to send anything across the globe, call La Boss. You will never regret of doing so. It's going to be a goodbye from here on the African Portal Radio to everyone joining us. And I'm switching back to the Yoruba. Ojú òní tí wọ́n ìbàdí òní bá yẹn tí ń wètò yín lórí gbogbo àgbáńlá ayé tológun ẹ ní dààmú ẹ ní dàrúkọ alágbára Èdùmàrè a bá fi ọ̀bẹ nú bẹṣu ní àtẹ́lẹsẹ̀ a sì bẹ̀nẹ̀wẹ̀ ń bá náà bọ̀ nìkan là ní débà lé o a lọ a padà wá ìpàdé wa lọ́jọ́ ọ̀la ètò yapa sórí ojú òpó ẹ̀bẹ̀ pọ́dọ̀ wa ọkọ̀ tí ń gbé tó lọ ọ̀dọ̀ wa ló dànù sí ibi náà ní iléeṣẹ́ rédíò ẹlẹ́rọ amìtìtì lórí òkè waterproof ẹlẹ́rọ abúgbàmù lórí èkè waterproof la wà nílùú Victoria ẹ máa gbọ́ ẹ máa share ẹ ní dààmú ẹ̀yin tí wò ètò yìí ojú òní tì yín bàbá wa Mr. Opeyemi Adewale adúpẹ́ pé òpópẹ́ wá sójú ètò yìí àmàrí yín bá níre láyọ̀ àti lálàáfíà ẹ jẹ́ máa fèyí dágbére kó lójú òpó ká máa sọ pé ó di ọjọ́ mi ó di ọjọ́ rẹ̀ ẹ dágbére fún gbọ́ yín lé kẹ́ sọ pé ó dàárọ̀ á ríra lálàáfíà. Ire ayọ̀ àtàláfíà kó wa bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kọ̀ọ̀kan wa gbé ojú òní tiwa ìbàjẹ́ òní bá wa ẹ ní dàrúkà ẹ máa share ẹ máa like làbọ́ọ̀sì rèé ẹ máa fi jẹ̀gbádùn ẹ bá fẹ́ gbẹ́rù ká gbogbo àgbà ńlá yín gbogbo ẹ fẹ́ gbẹ́rù lọ ẹ máa wo làbọ́ọ̀sì náà nìkan àwọn lè fògbọ́n ẹ̀gbárí fún yín tẹ́ ẹ bá ti lọ gbẹ́rù yín rán làbọ́ọ̀sì tẹ́ bá lọ gbẹ́rù yín náà tó pé ẹ bá gbẹ́rù rán wọn inú òkun lẹ́rù yín lọ já sí àbí kó já sọ́sà ẹ̀yin lẹ mọ̀ ẹ lọ pe làbọ́ọ̀sì.
Iléeṣẹ́ kan ṣoṣo tó léwájú àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ wọ́n wà ní Sunnyside excellence tower 518 202 road back to Bukwe Street Pretoria South Africa ẹ lè pè wọ́n sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí
+278 425 4494 tàbí 0735805333 La Bonne Fresh Services Solution aṣíwájú láàrin àwọn ẹlẹgbẹ́ best among others powered by the African Portal Radio TV.
Powered by the African Portal Radio TV. Ẹ̀rọ tí pé iléeṣẹ́ Labos náà nìkan làwa ń fi ògbó ẹ̀gbárí fún yín pé ẹ fẹ́ gbẹ́rù ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́ ránṣẹ́ Labos ní kẹ́ ẹ mọ̀ pé iléeṣẹ́ wọn yìí ọjà fáfá iṣẹ́ wọn sì rèé ó rọ̀ ní lọ́rùn. Wọ́n wà nílùú Èkó náà pẹ̀lú ní 30 Adékúnlé Akala Street off Fatai Ìràwọ̀ Ajao Estate International Airport Junction Lagos Nigeria. Ẹ lè bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ lójú òpó ayélujára www.bolaslogistics.co.za àbíkẹ́ ìpò sójú òpó +27 70335884. Òun náà lójú òpó tẹ́lẹ̀ pé wọ́n sí ẹ̀rọ bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ lójú òpó +234 813 487138. Ojú òní tìyín ẹ máa lọ pé Labos àwọn náà nìkan lálẹ́ fògùn ẹ̀gbárí fún yín kò ní bẹ́wudé lágbára Èdùmàrè àríra lọ́la láyọ̀ níbùkún àti lálàáfíà ire o ayọ̀ àti ìbùkún elédùn àkómọ bẹ́ẹ̀ni kọ̀ọ̀kan wa gbé lówelówe náà lùlù àgídìgbò ọlọ́gbọ́n ní ń jo ìwọ̀n àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ náà ní mọ́ ẹ̀yọ́ máa tẹ́wọ́lé sójú òpó ètò yìí adúpẹ́ o adúpẹ́ pé òkun ẹ̀ ní dàrúkà lágbára Èdùmàrè ẹ máa lọ sọ́dọ̀ Labos ibẹ̀ ló dànù sí àmàríra adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àlejò wa ọ̀gbẹ́ni Opeyemi Adewale ire ayọ̀tọ̀ lábẹ́ àkọ́wọ́ bá gbé kẹ́ láyọ̀ nílé kẹ́ láyọ̀ lọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ àní ṣe déédéé lẹ́yìn ara wa o ó dàárọ̀ o ó dọjọ́ mi ó dọjọ́ rẹ̀ èmi náà ni ọmọ yín ọ̀rẹ́ yín olólùfẹ́ yín Olúdáre Olùsàn ọmọ olùṣọ́ àgùntàn Samuel Olùṣègùn Olùsàn ibi àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà láà parí sí ọmọ ọkùnrin yìí jẹ̀gbádùn ẹ̀mí pé Labos ló sanwó ètò yìí pé gbogbo òpin ọ̀sẹ̀ ká mọ jẹ́ kára yín ó gbá yágíyágí kẹsì mọ jẹ̀gbádùn òpin ọ̀sẹ̀ yín bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti yìn ọkọ̀ tí ń gbé ayẹyẹ òpin ọ̀sẹ̀ lọ ibi ló dànù sí ó ti rọ́ dànù bí ọ̀dọ̀ wa náà ni àwa lè ẹlára àgbà yìí dá kò sẹ́yẹ méjì bí ọ̀kín Ọlọ́run ló dirí ẹwà fákòkò tiwa ní dàrúkà o ire kó máa bá wa gbé káláyọ̀ ńlé káláyọ̀ lọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ ẹ mọ ọkùnrin yìí jẹ̀gbádùn òpin ọ̀sẹ̀ yín ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ máa fi ṣe kíni kẹ́ ẹ máa fi ṣe mìlúńkú kẹ́ ẹ máa fi ṣe mìlú kẹ́ńkẹ́ ẹ máa jẹ̀gbádùn yìí títí a fi pàdé lọ́jọ́ mi ọjọ́ rẹ̀ Yínká Ayéfẹ́lẹ́ òun náà ní ká fi máa ṣe ọkọ̀ ìlú lálẹ́ ti tòní ká sì máa sọ pé ó di ọjọ́ mi ó dọjọ́ rẹ̀ ire ayọ̀ àlàáfíà kó máa bẹ́ẹ̀ni kọ̀ọ̀kan wá gbé àní dààmú àní dẹnilẹ̀ lágbára Èdùmàrè ire o ìbùkún àti ayé elédùn àkómọ bá wa gbé ẹ máa fa Ayéfẹ́lẹ́ yìí jẹ̀gbádùn ó dọjọ́ mi ó dọjọ́ rẹ̀.